I originally had a different episode planned for today, but as you can see by the title of this video, we're talking about Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And I've been working my way through this book. Absolutely fantastic read. And I found myself relating a lot of these things to the content of this YouTube channel. And I wanted to stress those today, bringing up about 5 quotes that I think are extremely important and that everybody needs to hear, especially on a Monday morning. So let's get started. So Marcus Aurelius was an emperor of Rome, and as he lived and experienced all these different things in his life as an emperor, as a son, just as a leader in his community, he wrote down tons of different maxims and stories to help him lead and to help him be a better person overall. These are very personal things that Marcus Aurelius is writing down in this book, and really it kind of gives me the sense of a self-help book in that each one is kind of a self-help exercise, something that just kind of keeps him straight. It's also crazy to think that these writings were never meant to be published. These were just his personal things that he would refer to, but somebody got a hold of them and did make them extremely popular. So when you're reading it, you get a sense of kind of being brought back in time and getting to experience the world from his perspective, and it's really quite the experience. I'd highly recommend checking this book out. So the first quote I'm going to start with today is to hear unwelcome truths. Now this is one everybody needs to hear, and it's a hard truth. The fact that so many people are kind of, not that they're scared, I guess, of the truth, but they just don't even care to hear it because it's just so unwelcoming. And now there are a lot of things in politics that you can point to, but I don't want to get into the nitty gritty, but I just want to emphasize that one of the biggest philosophies and one of the biggest goals behind this YouTube channel is looking and hearing the unwelcome truth. There's truths out there that you're bound to run into that are very, very threatening to who you are. And, Marcus Aurelius, almost 2,000 years ago, is here stressing the importance of hearing and listening to those. Next quote I want to share is pretty brutal. It goes, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." And at first glance, it clearly is. It's just, there's no way around it. A pretty brutal quote, but originally I didn't even really highlight it, but as it kind of sat on my head, I was like, wow, this is important. I think that it can really be related to the whole victim culture, the victimhood culture that has sprung up here, especially in America. And it just kind of reminds me of Jordan Peterson as a voice kind of against that victimhood culture. Like, bad things are going to happen to you. And Marcus Aurelius in here is not really preaching to be pessimistic and to wake up every day, be like, oh man, life sucks. He's talking about waking up every day and expect these things so that when they do happen, you're better prepared to handle them. And really his philosophy would be you're better prepared to just brush them off. But it starts with not labeling yourself as a victim. Label yourself as somebody who can handle that kind of stuff and who's even expecting it. These next 2 quotes I think really go together, so I'm going to read them at the same time. The first one is, "The human soul degrades itself when it allows its action and impulse to be without a purpose, to be random and disconnected." And the second one here is, "You need to avoid certain things in your train of thought, everything random, everything irrelevant." He adds on to that, "Get used to winnowing your thoughts." Today, especially in the modern world, things can get so distracting, and I've really made it a point to try and meditate. I try to meditate twice a day, and just to keep my mind clear. And I notice when I don't, that random things will pop in my mind that I just don't need to be thinking about. Not that they're bad things, but they're just completely out of the blue. I might be studying something, working on an assignment, and things are just constantly popping in and out of your head. And I think that Marcus Aurelius is noticing that just such a long time ago. He's really putting an emphasis to the fact that you have to be able to really winnow your thoughts, as he says, and be able to figure out what it is that you're thinking about, which it sounds kind of redundant and weird, but there's another quote that kind of goes along with it, that you don't know what you think about something until you write it down. In that case, writing something down is that action of winnowing your thoughts. I guess what we can really pull out of this is to know what you think about certain things. I know a lot of people who have, they may be hesitant towards something, or they're not sure about their opinion of a certain topic, but you talk to them about it and it's clear they don't even know what it is that they think about this topic, but they have such a firm kind of identity connected to that topic maybe, or such like an avoidance with that topic. But again, they don't even know what they think about it. So again, hopefully that kind of makes sense. But as Marcus Aurelius said, figure out what it is that you think about certain things. Now, this is the one I'm going to leave off on today. I think it's a fantastic quote. And it reads, "Keep the spirit inside you undamaged, as if you might have to give it back at any moment." It's so important to kind of reflect on things and not be so hard on yourself. People, especially today, are so focused on what other people think of them and what they could do better to be more kind of accepted in society. But Marcus Aurelius flips the whole script and it's like, treat your soul as if you might have to give it back someday. Treat it with dignity, with respect, and occasionally look inward towards yourself and be like, am I treating myself the way that I want to be treated? And it sounds abstract, it sounds weird, but I hate to use this phrase, but it's kind of like treat yourself every once in a while. Be kind to who you are. Understand that you're not perfect and you're on a journey and that you might be somewhere on that journey, but don't criticize yourself so greatly. I hope you enjoyed this episode as something kind of new this week. If you like that format, let me know down below. I think this was fun for me, for sure, just kind of to reflect on these different quotes. So if you like that, good for you, because there's probably going to be a part 2. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe.